Bayern Munich might have found a diamond in the rough. We might be looking at the next Romelu Lukaku, and hopefully Bayern might be able to sign this player in the next few windows. Let's get right into it. Welcome to Talking Bayern, the one-stop shop for Bayern Munich content on YouTube. Today we'll be discussing the next Lukaku. Reyes Cleary is a West Brom youth player with massive potential, and I'm talking massive potential just because of his size as well. Obviously, Lukaku is such a strong and dominant player, and this Cleary kid seems like a lot like he could become the exact same thing. Obviously, that is a lot to live up to. I will say that is a very, very high potential ceiling he has, although I'm not saying he's going to be the next Lukaku, but he very well could be. Obviously, there's always a risk here, but definitely there might be something in this player. He's a 17-year-old English player who is yet to sign a professional contract. According to Mailsport, Bayern are taking a keen interest in the young striker, and Bayern reportedly attended the match against Stoke City U23s in October and want to scout him again. So why I like this transfer, he's a very young prospect with a massive ceiling, as I said before. Lukaku, if he can turn out to be Lukaku, I know we're going to use this comparison all video long, but that is honestly the comparison I'm seeing the most here, and I think the most people would agree that that's kind of the same comparison we're seeing. Obviously, he's not very versatile, but he could be a very affordable option and a shot worth taking in my mind. So how much would he cost? Well, there's no real data to work with here. He doesn't have a transfer value on Transfer Market, so his value is relatively unknown. He is still yet to sign a professional contract, as I said, so we could swoop in and grab him on the cheap. However, West Brom are keen on keeping the young talent around. If they are able to sign him to a professional contract, this of course would increase the cost to get him and push back and move to a bigger club by some time. Obviously, if he just signs for West Brom for a professional contract, he's probably not going to move for some time. But Sportsmail reports that Newcastle, Crystal Palace, Schalke, Dortmund, and Hoffenheim are also all interested in Cleary, and he might be attracted by more playtime somewhere else. So that is something that could kind of hold Bayern back in signing him, is if he wants to get good playtime, honestly, Bayern's probably not the place to go. Obviously, if he wants to win, Bayern's the place to go. Hopefully, we could find a dynamic where both could happen, but I'm not sure that that's possible in a world where Lewandowski is our striker. Where would he play? Of course, he would be our striker. Unfortunately, he is not a very versatile player, as I said, so can't really see him play anywhere else but striker. Question I always ask in these videos is he better than what we already have? Of course not. We have Robert Lewandowski at striker here. Of course, he is one of the top goal scorers in the U18 Premier League. He has scored 10 goals and provided 2 assists in 6 games in the U19 Premier League and 3 goals in 7 matches at the U23 level. So he's obviously nowhere close to the levels of Lewandowski or even Choupo-Moting at this moment in his career, but there are hopes that he could become a strong striker with the proper development. And who else to develop him than Julian Nagelsmann? I think this is a great player that we could, get his hands on and really do some things with. Of course, he's by no means a sure thing. I mean, he's just 17 years old and he hasn't played in the Premier League yet. Obviously, he's playing the youth level, but he hasn't played, these big games yet. We're really uncertain, and there's not that much video or statistical data on his performances, so we can't really see those things to back him up. So as I said, a lot of uncertainty with this one, but obviously you can see that early projections, obviously there's a high level of uncertainty there, but still, you could kind of see what he might become in the future just based on his goals and how well he's doing for this West Brom youth team. So do we have the money? Of course. It's kind of a silly question for this video, but he might come for virtually nothing. I mean, he's yet to sign a professional contract for West Brom, and this really shouldn't impact our ability to sign other players in upcoming windows either, unless, we want to sign like another U18 striker that would kind of collide with that play time that would be potentially giving Cleary, but I don't really see that happening, and if we sign something like Verts, I don't see why we couldn't still sign this guy. So just kind of summarize things. If he were to leave West Brom, his career could benefit from a bridge move to a smaller club, even like Schalke, or obviously Dortmund's not a small club, but even them, you'd get more play time, and honestly, it could be a very long time until Cleary ever touches the pitch in Munich, and overall, snatching up Cleary could be a real bargain for a player with mass potential. Obviously, he might not see that kind of fit in Bayern, but I think Bayern would definitely be happy to pick him up. And honestly, I'm personally all about this signing. He seems like the kind of striker that would fit in with Bayern as well. Obviously, once he's developed, he's a pure goal scorer. He's big, he's got the size. Kind of the same player historically we see succeed at Bayern Munich. However, even if he does reach his full potential as a Romelu Lukaku-esque player, he wouldn't be able to replace Lewandowski for at least another 3 years, even with solid, progression of his career and his performance. I don't see Lewandowski really turning it off anytime soon, especially for another 3 years. I mean, that is, I'd say it's a pretty small estimate if we're going to say he's here in 3 years and he's better than Lewandowski, or at least, be able to compete with him. That's also assuming that Lewandowski's still here. I personally don't want Lewandowski to go anywhere. Obviously, as a right now replacement, Vlahovic would be probably one of the best options in my mind. But as a more long-term project, I don't see real risk here in taking a shot with Cleary. So I really hope we do go in on him. As I said, massive potential, very little unknown, but at the cost, I mean, it's going to be virtually nothing. So I think this could be a really, really deal for us. And if you get these kind of players on such a cheap bargain, there's not as much risk there. Obviously, you're colliding with other players that play for playtime, maybe in the academy and at the youth level. But still, I think we might have a really good diamond in the rough here. So hopefully we do make the signing, but obviously, as I said, there are many other teams interested, and I can see why he'd want to go elsewhere. But, if we could end up in 5 years with the next Romelu Lukaku, I would be a very, very happy supporter. So we'll see what happens in the upcoming months. If you did enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like and a comment. Let me know what you think of this player, and if you do some more background or research on him, let me know what you find. Let me know what you think about this player. If you want to see more Bayern Munich content like this in the future, make sure to subscribe to this channel. I hope to see you all in the next one. Until then, Mia Samia.